Long before T-Rex and Triceratops, another armored giant walked a different world, under older skies. This is the Late Jurassic, a time of lush valleys, towering conifers, and strange new body plans. At the border of forest and open ground, the earth trembles to a slow, steady rhythm. Something enormous is passing by, not a hunter, but a moving wall of plates and bone.
At the center of this story is Luma, a Stegosaurus whose back carries both armor and memory.
Each plate along her spine is unique, and one carries scar that tells of a past encounter with danger.
Her small head and long body may look unbalanced to us, but every centimeter is shaped by survival.
On the open plain, the herd fans out to feed, turning sunlight and plants into the power to move all this armor. Luma's tiny mouth is built not for biting flesh, but for cropping low plants, one mouthful at a time. Behind that beak, rows of small teeth grind plants into pulp, a quiet engine that must run all day.
From above, their plates form a jagged skyline, a signal to anyone watching that this herd is not to be taken lightly. The young practice movements they will need later, learning where their plates and spikes begin and end.
Even at half size, the tail club is already a promise of serious consequences for careless attackers.
Luma's body remembers countless steps, each one taught by trial and error, each one saving plates and spikes from collision.
From a low hill, she surveys her world, a patchwork of forest, river, and fern field that she knows intimately.
Her brain is small, but her instincts and senses have been tuned by millions of years of evolution.
Satisfied, she returns to the herd, the true source of her protection in a dangerous Jurassic world.
Luma shares these valleys with long-necked giants and nimble runners, each taking different pieces from the same green buffet. Her gaze is calm, almost gentle, but beneath it lies a body wired for sudden, devastating defense. Like all large plant eaters, the herd's life is tied to water, their heavy bodies drawing them again and again to the river's edge. Even drinking is a careful act. A misplaced step on wet stone could twist a leg that must carry many tons of weight. Beneath the waterline, her presence reshapes the riverbed, sending silt and nutrients downstream.
In a herd, individuals take turns at the best spots, shifting positions like pieces in a slow, living puzzle.
Their daily rhythm is simple: drink, feed, move, rest, and be ready, always, for the approach of teeth. Sometimes they venture into deeper shade, where navigating with tall plates requires careful, practiced movements.
Her body has learned the exact width and height of her own armor, turning potential clumsiness into confident threading between trees.
In the cool forest interior, she finds different flavors of plants, balancing her diet across changing seasons.
Suddenly, a new scent threads through the familiar smell of pine and fern, a hint of meat and motion. Not far away, another giant is on the move, Aro the Allosaurus, a hunter shaped for pursuit and tearing flesh. He inhales deeply, catching the plant-heavy scent of Stegosaurus drifting across the valley.
For the moment, Luma and her herd enjoy the sunlight, unaware that they have already been added to a hunter's plans.
But even plant eaters are never completely blind to danger. Subtle tremors and scents pull her from the comfort of feeding. Her world narrows to a question: move away as individuals, or stand together as a shield? She chooses the ancient answer written into her bones: turn the herd into a wall of backs and spikes. Youngsters slip toward the center, while adults present their deadliest weapons to the outside world.
Aro slows his approach, testing the herd's awareness, searching for any weakness in their formation. Those tall plates and spiked tails are not just decorations. To him, they are a map of risk and opportunity.
Predator and prey now share the frame, each shaped by the other, each aware of the cost of a mistake. Luma stands firm, her body a statement written in plates and spikes. Come closer if you dare.
Above them, the sky grows restless, adding its own pressure to a moment already tight with possibility.
Hunger urges him forward, yet the sight of so many plates and spikes keeps him just out of reach.
For the first time, we see the world from the level of her tail, where 4 simple spikes represent her last line of defense.
Each small adjustment stores energy in muscle and tendon, ready to unleash at the right moment. When he finally moves, he does so in a burst, hoping surprise and speed can outpace spikes. The air crackles as predator and armor collide in a blur of motion and instinct.
Luma turns, not to flee, but to strike, her tail becoming a swinging lance of bone.
A lifetime of hunting teaches him to respect the flash of spikes as much as the snap of jaws.
He escapes a killing blow by the width of a plate, but even a glancing hit warns him how close he has come to disaster.
The herd does not chase. They simply hold their ground, letting the message sink in.
He is hungry, but not foolish, and one serious puncture from those spikes could end every future hunt.
Reluctantly, he looks elsewhere for food, leaving the spiked backs to their rain-soaked vigil.
Luma has won this round not by chasing, but by standing, by turning her own body into a wall.
Now the storm becomes their main challenge, soaking the ground and chilling their heavy bodies.
Rain rattles across her plates like fingers over a shield, but she has weathered such storms many times before.
They do not run. Instead, they climb steadily, choosing ground where a sudden flood will not trap them.
From higher ground, Luma watches the river swell, remembering that not all danger has teeth.
Each flash of light carves her profile into the sky, a momentary silhouette of spikes and plates.
Eventually the storm moves on, leaving behind soaked soil, fresh scents, and another memory added to the herd's experience.
Morning returns with gentler skies, and life slips back into its familiar pattern of feeding and moving. Luma carries yesterday's mud and tiny scars, but each day's trials simply become part of her. Storms break plants, spill seeds, and feed soil. Now the plains offer a brief flush of richer food to everyone who survived.
Her whole front half is a feeding engine, tuned to harvest low plants quickly, step after step.
Beside her, younger Stegosaurus copy her movements, turning observation into survival skills.
In the dry season, the green thins, and the herd must walk farther between good feeding patches. Her plates may help shed heat, acting like living fins that bleed warmth into the air around her.
They do not mind if a plant is tough or dry. Every leaf still holds water and energy worth taking.
From above, their path across the dry season looks like a slow, determined scar etched into the land. Even a field must rest. Luma slows her stride, letting the smallest catch their breath in her shadow. Deep among the tall trunks, the air is cooler, the ground softer, and water lingers longer in shaded soil. Her plates glow softly in filtered light, as if the forest itself paints patterns across her armor.
Even here, under a green ceiling, the possibility of teeth never fully vanishes.
This time, the danger is only in their imaginations and memories. A safe mistake, but a necessary one.
Rains eventually return, and with them, a fresh wave of growth that refuels every heavy body on the move.
Among her legs and under her shadow, young Stegosaurus find both shade and safety.
Their bodies become each other's walls, living structures that grow and change with every season. Far away, the land itself still shifts and smokes, reminding us that dinosaurs live on a restless planet.
Her limbs are thick but flexible, able to adjust and save her from sudden drops and loose soil.
Around her now stand younger adults whose plates and spikes echo her design, ready to take on the role of shields themselves. In that simple contact is a silent passing of responsibility, from one generation of armor to the next. At sunset, their backs blaze with color, plates turned into flags of living stone. Light traces every ridge and scar, revealing the long record of impacts and pressures she has endured. Tonight, she pauses for just a moment, letting the herd flow around her like a slow river of bone. Under a sky strewn with stars, plates and spikes fold toward the earth, turning from weapons into shelter.
Her small head finally rests, though the story of her bones is just beginning.
Seen from above, they are a mosaic of shields laid carefully on the forest floor. Days blur into seasons, and seasons into years, as Luma's herd leaves invisible trails through time. Not every Stegosaurus survives every storm, every drought, every encounter with predators. Sometimes, bones are quickly covered by mud and sand, beginning the slow transformation into stone. Layer by layer, the river buries the body, while minerals creep in, turning living tissue into fossil.
Millions of years later, these stones emerge again, pushing upward with the shifting crust.
Now, new eyes peer at the plates, tracing their edges with gloved hands and soft brushes. Every plate holds clues about blood flow, growth, and how these strange structures developed over a lifetime.
In quiet rooms far from Jurassic valleys, researchers assemble scattered bones into the outline of an ancient life.
Mounted in museums, Stegosaurus looks both familiar and alien, a puzzle of plates and spikes towering above us. That tail weapon has a new name now, Thagomizer, a playful term hiding very serious power.
But to imagine its true impact, we must place flesh and muscle back over the bone.
Bones give us the frame. Imagination, guided by science, gives us back the living shield named Luma. Back in her own time, there are no museums, no words, only the daily cycle of survival and growth. Her legacy is not just in the fossils she may leave, but in the bodies of those who learned from her example. Together, they form a movable fortress, each back reinforcing the others, each tail covering a neighbor's blind spot. Even their shadows look like armor, layered over the earth as they pass. Her strange body plan makes some paths difficult, but generations of practice have turned difficulty into expertise. With every step, she reshapes microhabitats, mixing soil, water, and seeds in patterns we can only guess at.
Stegosaurus does not live alone. She is part of an entire community of giants, sharing paths and resources. Even crossing water, she keeps her tail weapon ready, because crocodile-like jaws could lurk below.
By eating from different levels, these herbivores reduce competition, an unspoken truce enforced by body design.
Her eyes never linger long on any threat that is far away, but she rarely forgets to look.
Time leaves its signature on her plates and gait, but she remains a pillar around which younger shields organize. Roles shift subtly as she ages, yet her presence still calms nervous youngsters. Roles shift subtly as she ages, yet her presence still calms nervous youngsters.
She has climbed this hill many times, and now each ascent feels a little steeper.
Even lifeless things grow on her armor, small plants using her as a platform for their own journey. Leadership is no longer measured only by who walks first, but by who has walked the longest.
One evening, she rests with younger plates surrounding her, a circle of protection she once provided to them.
We do not see her last breath, only the gentle rise and fall of a chest that has carried her through many storms.
In time, her bones too will sink beneath mud and sand, joining countless others in the quiet darkness below. Layers of silt will press down, compressing flesh away, leaving only the hardest parts to carry her story forward. Millions of years later, wind and water reverse the process, peeling back time to reveal the shield beneath.
Our fingers close around her spikes, not as prey or predator, but as curious descendants eager to understand.
In galleries of glass and light, her bones now teach new generations about an age of giants. Artists sketch her world in greens and browns, guided by every groove and ridge on her skeleton.
Between bone and reconstruction, we rebuild not just a dinosaur, but an entire way of life.
To truly know her, we must picture her alive again. Plates shining, tail poised, surrounded by her own kind.
She is not a monster, nor a mistake of evolution, but a specialist built for a very particular way of surviving.
Her brain may be small, but her life is not. It is full of choices, habits, and relationships we are only beginning to imagine.
From every side, her silhouette speaks of defense. Plates to be seen, spikes to be feared.
As the sun drops, their backs draw a jagged line across the horizon, a living wall of shapes no predator forgets. In that light, she is both shield and symbol, a quiet guardian of her Jurassic Valley. The scar that once marked pain now marks survival, proof that her armor did its job when it was needed most. Night after night, they arrange themselves into a living fortress, plates turned inward for warmth, spikes turned outward for warning. Even at rest, she keeps one side exposed to danger, her body a barrier between darkness and the herd. Eventually, her eye does close, trusting others to take up the watch she has held for so long.
Another day begins in the age of Stegosaurus, full of the same routines and surprises as the last.
Behind every fossil on our shelves are countless mornings like this, lived and forgotten, until stone remembered them. By linking stone to story, we turn Stegosaurus from an outline on paper into a living shield in our minds. We remember her now not just as dinosaur with plates, but as Luma, the shield of her herd. She moves off into the distance, forever part of a crowded Jurassic community of giants and grazers.
The more we zoom out, the more we see that her story is also the story of rivers, forests, and climate.
From orbit, her world shows no hint of plates or spikes, only continents and storms and seasons. Yet down here, at ground level, each plate and spike shapes life and death decisions every single day. In other ages and other places, different shields will rise, from club-tailed tanks to horned guardians.
But hers is one of the earliest great experiments in body armor, a first chapter in the saga of dinosaur defense.
As our time with her ends, we see her as predators saw her, a silent warning outlined against the sky. Her living shape dissolves into art and memory, carried forward by fossils and stories. We call this chapter The Shield of Stegosaurus, a tribute to a dinosaur whose armor protected more than just herself. Remember her not only for her plates, but for every decision that kept her herd alive. Long after her steps have faded, the valleys still remember in layers of mud and stone. By reading those layers, we bring her back, if only for a little while, in images and imagination. This was the story of Luma, the back-spiked shield of the Jurassic. Our journey continues as we follow other armored titans through the long history of dinosaurs.